We have simulated 5 seasons into the future in FM24. We have taken over recently relegated VfL Wolfsburg, who have just dropped down to the Bundesliga 2. If we take a look at the Bundesliga Season 5, they actually finished 17th place in the table, getting them relegated. 7 wins, 11 draws, 16 defeats. One of the main reasons why they actually got relegated was a lot of injuries, because the team and the squad is actually still very good. So we're on the 1st of July at the moment, so we've still got some players who are technically out of contract. We've got some players who we're definitely going to try and shift on because their salaries are far, far too high. But this is our squad based on current ability. We've got Kaminski, 4-star. We've got Wimmer, 4-star. We've got Grabara, Reina, Esteve, Lacroix, Wind, all up there at 3.5-star ability as well. We are far, far too good for this league. The concern I have is we've got lots and lots of players who are on ridiculous money for the second division in Germany. So we might need to do some transfer business to try and shift some players on and get those wage bills down. Obviously, because we are 5 seasons into the future as well, I'm going to quickly skim through the transfers that have taken place, because some of these players are still here, some of them have gone. Sal Coco, I believe, has left the club. Eddie Salcedo is still here. Grabara is still here. I believe Horkas is still here. I think this fella might still be here. I'm not quite sure. We've also sold some players as well, who I'm not really convinced that the selling players is particularly important in this. We've got Diego Coppola, who I think is still here. Lee Buchanan from Birmingham for £13.25 million is stupid money. Esteve from Montpellier, he's still obviously here and very good. Max Johnson, I believe, is still here as well. Gio Reyna on loan, which then in the next season turned into a permanent deal for £18 million, which is a very good deal. And obviously as well, you can see Mark Oliver Kempf is at the club. Anyone else? I believe this is season 5. So we've signed anyone good there? No one really good there. I mean, we've signed this man he's actually quite good. He's a very useful defender. And then into the next season, and that is it. So I do want to point out this guy actually came from Bayern Munich. I had nothing to do with this transfer. I think he's going to be very good. Anyway, that's kind of what was happened so far, and that's how we've managed to get to this point in the save and in the life of this Wolfsburg side. We have got in this video 3 seasons of a simulation where we are trying to get, first of all, Objective 1, get them back to the Bundesliga. Objective 2, don't get relegated again. And Objective 3 is to, I guess, try and qualify for Europe. Long-term objectives is try and win the Bundesliga. We're going to try and do that over the space of 10 seasons. Let's jump forward to the end of the transfer window in Season 1 to see what business we have done. Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be quite a lot. A total of about £40 million has actually come into the club over the summer. Lee Buchanan is one of them. He has left. He's signed at Fort Bochum and then immediately gone out on loan to Schalke. About £600,000 for him. Vaclav Cerny has also left the club, signing for Lorient for £825,000. For £1.2 million mark, Oliver Kempf has moved over to Saudi Arabia. He's 33 years of age. If you've ever watched my videos before, anyone over 30 is at risk of just getting sold for any value. For £3.7 million, we have sold Andres Borest over to LA Galaxy in the MLS. I don't think we were ever really going to play him, so to get a decent amount of money from him, it's not bad. For £6.5 million, Maximilian Arnold is over 30 and has been moved on over to the Middle East. He's signed for Damak, who I want to say are probably Saudi Arabian as well. They are, of course, they're Saudi Arabian. They've all gone to Saudi Arabia, including Asta Vranch, who has moved over to Saudi Arabia for £7.5 million. This one, I wasn't sure was a good idea. At 25 years of age, I feel like we've got better players and we're able to bring in better players, so we're just going to take the money on this one. But the big one, for £24 million, Jonas Wind has moved over. Is it Wind or Wind? I always call him Wind. Anyway, he's moved over to Borussia Mönchengladbach for a lot of money. We weren't ever going to play him, and I'll tell you why, because we are playing one striker, and he's not the striker that we're going to be playing. We've also done 2 loan deals leaving the club who are quite important. I guess Eddie Salcedo, one of them, he has gone on loan to Bochum until the end of the season. I'm hoping they sign him on a permanent deal. And Kamil Grabara has also left, going to Juve on loan until the end of the season. Some of these I've done more for realism, because if you get relegated from the top division of any country to the second division, you're not going to keep your highest earners, or if you are going to loan them out, or you're going to give them new contracts on less money. Grabara is one of those players that I've decided to loan out to basically take his wages off the wage bill for a season. He'll come back next season and he might be playing for us. He is transfer listed though, however. If Juve offer £40 million, I will definitely sell him. Joining the club then, £12.75 million worth of players in total. Gabriel Slonina has joined the American, formerly of Chelsea. He's joined on a free transfer. He is going to be our number 1 goalkeeper for the season. That is why I was comfortable with getting rid of Grabara for a year, because Slonina, I think he could be our goalkeeper for a few seasons, maybe 5 seasons. In central midfield, we have picked up 27-year-old Portuguese defensive midfielder Samu, once again on a free transfer. Up front, we have picked up Josh Sargent on a free transfer, formerly of Werder Bremen, so he knows Germany quite well. I'm tempted to make him our number 1 striker, which sounds stupid when we've got rid of Eddie Salcedo. Another free transfer and another defensive midfielder is Mandela Keita, signed from Antwerp. He's going to be very good. He's already very good. Another free transfer, and it is Issei Ueda, who is a 30-year-old Japanese striker who I brought in to basically bring more depth to our forward positions, because we did get rid of quite a lot of forwards, either through loan deals, selling, or just leaving the club in general. Another defence midfielder to join, once again on a free transfer, is Skelly Alvaro, the Angolan defence midfielder signed from Lyon. Also spent a bit of time, I believe, out on loan at Werder, so he knows a bit of German football as well. We did need a bit of depth in left back, and once again on a free transfer, we have used this free transfer market quite heavily. Alex Murphy, 24 years of age, Irish left back, maybe centre back, signed from Newcastle. And the last free transfer is Thiz de Linga, which is probably not how it's said at all. Signed once again on a free transfer from PSV, formerly of Toulouse and Excelsior, and a bit of Groningen as well. The Dutch striker once again comes in for more depth. But that is not all for the players that have joined the club. We've got 2 loan deals to mention, and also a few players that we've paid money for. First up, the loan deals. Nico Casolo is on loan from AC Milan, a 22-year-old Slovenian left winger who actually starts the game at playing for Mura, moved over to AC Milan. We brought him in on loan because we need some left wingers, and I don't think I want to buy this man on a permanent deal. He's not going to be my first choice left winger, but he's kind of there for depth. And that's probably because our first choice left winger might be Datro Fofana, signed on loan from Chelsea until the end of the season. I don't think we're paying any money for him. I think we're paying his wages, and that's about it. So we're paying half of his wages. We're paying half of his wages, less than half of his wages, and we've got Datro Fofana on loan for a season. This is going to be a very useful loan for us. But it doesn't stop there, obviously. We've bought players as well. Most of the players we brought in are for the future, because I'm planning to do the same for 10 whole seasons. We have Abdourazak Dukar, a Senegalese right winger, maybe striker, signed from Dakar Sacré-Cœur over in, I want to say, that is surely in Senegal, is in Senegal. He's obviously one for the future. He's cost about £450,000. He actually cost £130,000. For £250,000 is Ayad Dindane, who is an Ivorian striker who's already got a cap to his name, signed from ASEC Mimosas. He's going to be playing a lot of football. I might force play Dindane to be our striker in Season 1, which could be something really stupid, but I might do it. It's not all youth players, however. We have brought in Fallou Diop, a 22-year-old Senegalese defender with 17 caps and a goal to his name. He's come in for depth. He has cost £5 million, which might be a bit steep. And the biggest transfer that we have done is for just under £6 million, is Joaquin Obispo, who is an Argentine right winger, left winger and striker signed from Gimnasia in his native Argentina. And I think he's going to be one for the future, but much like Dindane, we might play him a lot in the first season as well. So that is all of our transfer business. There's also Arne Meyer in there, who we didn't technically sign, but he's come in this season, had nothing to do with us. If we look, there's a whole bunch of loan deals there that some of them might be of interest to you. I don't know whether too many particularly important. Bernardo, he's a good player. He doesn't fit our system. Paredes, I think he's a good player, but doesn't really fit our system either. He does fit our system. He's not a good player. That's what I wanted to say there. And we've also loaned out this man here, who I mentioned earlier, and I'm hoping to get some game time. He needs some game time. So from a formation perspective, we are going with a 4-2-3-1 Black Panther formation from GYR. Link down in the description if you want to get it for yourself. And we are locking in just one player, and that is Dindane. We are going to lock him in as our striker. If we do, and ask the assistant to pick our best 11, which will include injured players, because Estevez is injured, Grabar is out on loan as well, so technically we should go second best there, which will be Slonina. Estevez is out for most of the season, so we'll do that. That's probably our best 11. But I'm thinking we maybe put Fofana onto one of the wings, maybe on the right, Reina as that attacking midfielder, Kaminsky on the left, and then we do stick up front Dindane up front, because he's good enough to do it already. And I'm thinking that's going to be us for the season. Speaking of us for the season, we are a few matches into the season already. 6 games played. We're currently 6th in the table. It's not a good start. In all honesty, it's not a good start. 2 draws against Mainz and Kiel. 1 defeat as well. A 3-0 against Hansa Rostock, which is really not a good performance at all. But we have picked up 3 wins as well against Werder Bremen, Hannover and Osnabrück. So 2 competitions that we're in all season. Obviously Bundesliga 2, we need to win this one. We need to win the league. We need to get promoted. If we don't, we might actually be sacked. And the DFB Pokal, which they just want us to be competitive. They want us to focus on the league. I'd like to get to, like, I don't know, the round of 16. Is that even a thing? Is the round of 16? I know the DFB Pokal's a bit strange, isn't it? Because all the round names are just... I mean, okay, we're already in the second round. Can we get to the quarterfinal? I think we should be good enough to get to the quarterfinal. Right, let's jump forward then to the end of Season 1 to see how well we've got on with this Wolfsburg side. Hopefully we can find ourselves in the top 2, getting ourselves promoted, and a decent cup run as well. Right, let's jump forward to the end of the season. So it's the 27th of May, and as if it was in any doubt at all, we are champions of Bundesliga 2. We have gone up with 75 points. Nuremberg in second, who are a massive, 8 points behind us? So a nice big gap between us and second place, so we have been promoted. That is a very good thing. But somewhat of a surprise, we did manage to get to the DFB Pokal final and lose on penalties. We lost against Leipzig on penalties, and it looks like it was Kaminski was the man to miss the vital penalty, but we got to the final. That was way better than I thought we would do. I don't think we're going to get Europe for getting to the final, because that's not how it works. But the fact that we got there shows that we are still a very good side, and when we get promoted in Season 2, we could, in theory, finish quite comfortably in the top half. So briefly taking a look at some of the players. When it comes to assists, we've got 3 players who have broken into double figures. Mandela Keita is one of them. 12 assists in all competitions from that defence midfield position. For a free transfer, that's very useful. Gio Reyna also managed to get 12 assists playing as that attacking midfielder, but vitally for Reyna, 19 goals. He wanted to leave all season. He was saying all season he wants to leave, he wants to go and basically play at a high level because we got relegated. And I was persistent and said, no, you are staying, Gio. He has stuck around, he's happy we've been promoted, and he has been a vital part of our promotion charge. As has Riddle Baku, who, despite the fact he scored absolutely no goals, did get 13 assists. He's our top assister for the season. At 31, though, you are in danger of being cut, my friend, because you are over the age of 30, and I do like to sign decent Wonderkids, and with 5 now, 6 seasons into the future, there's a lot of them knocking about. Like Ayad Dindane, who finishes our top goal scorer with 21 goals. Just 2 assists. He doesn't like setting anybody else up, but Dindane getting 17 league goals in 28 games is pretty good. I would have liked more, to be honest, but we did. If we have a look, we did have a fair spread of goals. Reyna, we know, getting 19-13 as well for Wimmer. We got Fofana picking up 9 goals as well, who, by the way, is joining on a permanent deal because he's out of contract at Chelsea at the end of the season. So Fofana will be becoming a permanent Wolfsburg player. Kaminski with 7 and 7 as well. That's also pretty useful to see. Alex Murphy's got 3 goals and 4 assists. Fair play, lad. So with Season 1 in the books then at Wolfsburg, we move on to Season 2, where we just realistically need to not get relegated. So July has rolled around for Season 2, and we have £45 million to spend to hopefully keep us in the Bundesliga and actually hopefully challenge for a mid or top half finish in the league. We've already done some business as well. The transfer window opens on the 1st of July, so let's take a look to see what we've done. As we know, Datro Fofana has made his move over from Chelsea a permanent move, which I think is a very good transfer. He is getting paid a stupid amount of money, but because we are now back into the Bundesliga, £90,000 a week sounds very steep, but we should be good enough to stay there and justify that salary. We've also brought in young, I say young, he's not that young anymore, Austrian defender Leopold Querfeld. He's now 25 years of age, starts the game at like 19, maybe 20 years of age. Brought in on a free transfer from Rapid. He's in for depth, basically. It says he's an important player. He's not. He's definitely not an important player. Somebody who has moved on, though, is Kamil Grabara. He obviously went to Juve last season on loan. He has made that move permanent for not as much as we'd like, £23.5 million, but that's a decent amount of money for a player who I personally think Slanina is probably going to be our number 1 goalkeeper for at least maybe 2 more seasons. So Grabara was going to basically be forced to drop down the pecking order. We've got over £20 million for our second choice goalkeeper at this point. Before we've moved much further in the save as well, we're currently predicted to finish 10th place, which is good. It is just inside the bottom half of the table, but we obviously haven't done any transfers just yet. And the board are expecting us to finish mid-table, so we are in quite a good position. We can finish mid-table. I'm happy with that. They do want us to sign German-based players. Yeah, we've not really done that at all. And we've still not done that as we get to September. We have signed Garan Kuol on a free transfer, signed from Newcastle. He's once again, much like a lot of the players that I seem to sign early on at the very least, they are going to be squad players, not going to be getting a huge amount of football. But at 24 years of age, free transfer, that's a good bit of business. Jean-Baptiste Gorby is another player joining on a free transfer, formerly of Manchester City, Braga, Moriense, and somebody else, Ferreira. Not quite sure how that's pronounced at all, but he has joined on a free transfer. He's probably going to play quite a lot. He's actually not bad. Moving into the money business now, Miguel Benavides is an Argentine defender signed from Banfield for about £7 million, potentially rising to £7 million. Probably not going to play a lot the first season or two, but hopefully he's going to get better. He's already pretty good now. As is Luca Musiari, who is signed from Inter Milan, left back, 20 years of age. He's not the most useful left back, but I'm choosing to believe my scouts. They reckon he's going to be absolutely superb. He's cost £10 million, and I'm going to force play him for the season because I kind of want to justify spending that money. And somebody else who's cost a fair amount of money is Serginho Dest, signed from AC Milan for £15.75 million. And I brought him in to play as a right back. I don't know what his position is, but he's come in to play as a right back. Transfers leaving the club then, quite a few to talk about. Ueda, who spent one season here, played 3 times, didn't score a goal. He's left, going back to Japan for about £600,000. Arne Meyer has left, going to Mainz for £1.6 million. Fallou Diouf has already moved on for £3.7 million. We're taking a hit on this one. I just don't think he was good enough. For £4.8 million, Josh Sargent has moved to Sheffield United. Similar situation. He just wasn't going to be good enough. For £13 million, we have sold Erman Basigit over to Saudi Arabia. It's a lot of money for a young footballer, but I think we can kind of weather this storm because we had a lot of injuries last season. They're no longer injured, so Bastiat isn't going to play anywhere near as many games as he did. Eddie Salcedo has also moved on for £18 million. He's moved over to China for a few seasons. He's not even getting a massive wage, is he? And then, as we know, Kamil Grabara has left, going to Juve. That's all of our transfer business. It is the 4th of September. The window is closed. There's been some other loan deals who we really probably might need to mention. Bernardo has gone to Boavista and Max Johnson has gone to Hanover. That is basically it. And from a formation perspective, we're sticking with the 4-2-3-1 Black Panther, but we are locking in 4 players. And we are not sticking Dindane up front because I think Dindane might actually do alright playing as that attacking midfielder. So we're sticking Fofana up front, partially because he's on 90 grand a week and I want to justify it, but also he's a very good footballer. Dest as our right back, Musiari as our left back, and Obispo as our right winger. He played a few times. He didn't play a few times last season, sorry. He didn't even get on the bench, I don't think, last season. There's been a lot of interest in the summer for Obispo. You can see there Benfica want to sign him on a permanent deal. Lots of the big clubs in Germany, like your Dortmunds and your Bayerns, were coming in for him, which says to me, there's something there. Let's try and get this out of this kid whilst he's still at the club. And if we can kind of climb up the table, he's not going to want to leave anyway. And the worst case scenario, we just make him better, we bump up his value, and we sell him for a lot more than what the teams were initially bidding for him. And with those transfers done, we are still expected to finish 10th place in the table. So it's not really made much difference. At the start of the season, however, we've played just 3 matches. We are in 6th, 2 wins. We beat Union Berlin and Bochum. We have lost, however, against Bayer, who are currently top of the table. Let's jump forward then to the end of Season 2, see how well we've done. Maybe we can actually win the DFB Pokal as well. That would be nice. It is now the 26th of May, but I'm going to talk to you about transfers before we get too much further. We have signed a man called Quinzinho, who my scouts went, he's going to be very good. And he was available on a free transfer. So we brought him in. He turned up in January because he turned 18 on the 29th of January. That's why we actually did this in the summer, but he couldn't join until January, basically. I think he looks quite good. When it comes to the league, we have actually finished just outside of the Champions League qualification spots. Just 3 points, between us and Borussia Dortmund. We have overachieved quite massively in this, and you can see their goals from Fofana and Reina on 15 and 13. Reina with the highest average rating. Samu getting a lot of yellow cards, which is fine. He's a defensive midfielder. I expect him to be just doing some really tough tackles, picking up a lot of yellow cards. 16 might be too many. However, we have won the DFB Pokal. This was completely unexpected. 2 seasons, we've been to the final twice. We have beaten Hanover 6-1. Absolutely destroy them. Obispo, Dindane, Fofana from the penalty spot, Kaminski, Obispo again, and Wimmer rounding it off in the 78th minute. We've had a very good season, haven't we? We've had a very good season. Massively overachieved as well. When it comes to players then, we've got 4 players who I want to kind of bring to your attention. We've got Obispo, who I said we were going to force play for the season, and we did. He missed a few matches through injuries, scoring 9, getting 5 assists. A good first season, just 1 behind the magic number 10, which is where I normally start my top goal scorers and top assisters. Patrick Wimmer getting 13 goals and 4 assists in all competitions as well. Very good season from Wimmer. He obviously didn't play much. He came off the bench 15 times because if we look at his form, he was playing all over the place. Right wing, left wing, right back a few times. Played as a striker against Schalke. He's had a very strange career. Also got sent off against Stuttgart. Let's ignore that one. Gio Reyna being the second top goal scorer and the third top goal scorer in the Bundesliga as well. 13 goals in the league, 2 in the DFB Pokal, 6 assists as well in all competitions. I am so glad Reyna did not leave the club when we got relegated because basically he was kind of the linchpin. I wanted to make sure that we kept Reyna because he was still young. He's still young now. He's only 27. There's still a fair few seasons left in Reyna. His value's still good. His ability is obviously very good. Reyna is still doing the business for us. And someone else who's also doing the business is Datro Fofana, playing as that striker. 18 goals, 3 assists in all competitions. He is wanted, and he does have a minimum fee release in his contract, which is about 30.5 million pounds. I'm genuinely going there. If somebody bids that, I might take it. He's 27. He'll be 28 come the end of next season. I'm kind of not against selling him for £30 million. It's just a massive profit for a player that cost us literally nothing. We've got 2 very good seasons out of him. We've been promoted, we've won the cup, and then £30 million in our back pocket as well. That would be absolutely brilliant. When it comes to assists, I've sorted this by the top assisters. No one broke double figures, but we did get Musieri and Dest both getting 8 assists. Kaminski and Reyna on 6. Obispo getting 5 along with Riddle Baku as well. So not a huge amount of assists. For the amount of goals we've got, those numbers don't add up. Just want to take a look as well at Dindane. Obviously did not force play him this season, but still managed to do, 7 starts in all competitions and 24 off the bench. Just the 4 goals and 1 assist. But the fact that he probably only played the last maybe 10 minutes most matches, yeah, look, there we go. Not really playing a lot of football at all. The fact that he's getting game time, I'm pretty happy with that. So Season 2 is in the bag, and we are in the Europa League. Not the Europa Conference League, the Europa League proper. We have won the DFB Pokal. So Season 3, I guess we kind of want to do more of the same. Maybe if we can qualify for the Champions League, that will be a very good improvement. If we can get ourselves another DFB Pokal, I would love that as well. If we can win the Europa League, even better. So the start of Season 3, and we're in the Champions League. Because, I'm not even sure how I can really show this, but basically, it's this one here? Is it that one there? Germany was second. Germany finished second last season, which meant we actually got into the Champions League phase, which means there are 5 German sides in the Champions League, I believe, in the actual proper league phase as well. So, I was kind of expecting to be in the Europa League, but whatever. We're obviously Bundesliga, DFB Pokal, and also the German Super Cup, which is in Germany. They're never normally in Germany, are they? Are they in Germany? They're always in Germany. It's just France that seem to always take place in just weird countries where money is normally thrown at them. So with it being the 1st of July, the transfer window has opened and we've already done a small amount of business. We've got £35 million to spend, but we have sold some players, brought in some players as well. First up, Delinga has left for just under £200,000. He played twice. Waste of money. And for £10 million, Riddle Baku, unfortunately for him, aged, and he is over 30. He has moved over to Damak in Saudi Arabia. £10 million for a 32-year-old right back who wasn't really playing since Dest came in. That was the reason to sign Dest, by the way. That's good money. Joining the club so far, 2 free transfers. Neil Hoskins is one of them. He's a Welsh right winger signed from Southampton, and he's not going to play because he doesn't count as European because Brexit's a thing, and it's kind of screwed me over a little bit. And secondly is Eric Garcia joining on a free transfer from Fulham. That's right, he left Barcelona, went to Fulham. We've picked him up on a free transfer. I brought him in primarily to play as a centre-back, but because he can play as a defence midfielder as well, he's a very useful and versatile player, which I'm very happy with. And we've brought in our new goalkeeper in the shape of Maximiliano Garcia, signed from Atlas in his native Mexico. 5 caps as well to his name. I took a look at him, saw him, went, there's something there. Asked the scouts, and the scouts went, there's something there. He had a minimum fee release of £6.75 million, so we brought him in. There were other clubs. I think Arsenal were one of them, was sniffing around. Maybe a couple of teams from France and Italy as well. He's decided to come over to Germany. I might make him our number 1, you know. I might go for it, because he's probably as good as Slonina right now. Looking at attributes-wise, he is very similar. Slonina kind of calls him on the mentals and physicals, but as a goalkeeper in general, Garcia's probably better, in my opinion. It's just mentally he's not as good, but maybe he is good. He's got more bravery, his composure's less, and his concentration's less, and his determination's less. But maybe he's not bad, is he? We might do Garcia our number 1. But that has been our transfer business so far. We're going to jump forward to the end of the summer transfer window to see what more business we have done. Obviously, we've still got a lot of money to spend, and I kind of want to spend it. So our transfer budget's moved from just under 40 million to just over 50 million. Yeah, we've sold some people. Paulo Bernardo, one of those players leaving, going to Leicester for £2.9 million. Max Johnson has gone to Celtic for £1.8 million. For £825,000, Alvaro has moved over to Toulouse. And for potentially rising to £53 million, Patrick Wimmer has moved over to Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. It's a lot of money. A lot of money for a 29-year-old who is very, very close. By the end of the season, he'd be 30, and I'd be willing to sell him for any money. So basically, Wimmer has gone for a lot of money, and we've basically tried to reinvest that as well, which is pretty good. We've not invested all of it, but we've certainly invested some of it. Leguizamon is the first player to talk about. £625,000 signed from Sportivo Luqueño, who is a Paraguayan central midfielder. We're going to obviously retrain him to be a defensive midfielder. He's gone back on loan for the rest of the season at the moment. Signed from Maribor is Robert Kuss for £1.5 million. He's gone immediately back on loan to Maribor, one for the future, but already 2 Slovenia caps. And for £14 million, Michael Montero has signed from Mallorca, a Nicaraguan defensive midfielder. It might be too much money, but I think there is certainly some future here for Montero. And the fact that he's from Nicaragua, if you play Football Manager, you know that you want to sign some players from, let's say, non-fashionable footballing nations. Nicaragua, certainly one of them. So that is basically all of our transfer business. We've also loaned out, because we know Leguizamon. Garan Koal has gone out on loan to Shakhtar as well in Ukraine. So that's basically our business. I think I missed out David Adogu. He's also left. He's gone to Dynamo Dresden. We weren't ever going to play him anyway. And this is what it looks like so far when it comes to competition. Starting on the right-hand side, we have lost the German Super Cup. We're not even going to go there. I think we lost about 2-1. It wasn't bad. We just didn't win. In the DFB Pokal, we've got Kaiserslautern. We're expected to reach the quarter-final. I'm sure I'd like to win it, to be honest. We want to be competitive in the Champions League. Obviously, it's not kicked off just yet. And we are currently top of the Bundesliga, thanks to 3 wins against Bayern, Union Berlin, and FC Köln. It's a very good start to the season. That win against Bayern gives me hope that we might actually be able to win the league, because Bayern don't often lose matches. The fact that we've beaten them 3-1, that's a good start. From a formation perspective, this is what we are going to go with, and I'm not convinced Quinzinho's there. So, Garcia will be our number 1 goalkeeper. We are going to keep Dest and Musiari as our left and right backs. If we don't put Musiari there, they will put Kaminski, I believe, or maybe even Murphy goes in there as our left back. I don't want them. Dest, I think, will get locked in, but we're just going to make him sure that he's actually our right back. Obispo? It is Obispo. He's going to be our striker, right winger, and our striker is maybe going to be Quinzinho. He's played a few times, 5 matches so far in all comps. He's not scored a goal. He's not done very well. I might not do that. I might not. I'm not gonna say whether I'm gonna do that now, because right now I'm not sure whether I want Quinzinho or just to leave it blank, because we could leave it blank. We could go Dindane. We could go Dindane up front. I'm not going to tell you what I've done. I'm going to leave that as a surprise for when we go to the end of the season, which is actually, now. It's a 3rd place finish. 3rd place in the league. So we have climbed up, although from a points perspective, we have picked up, what is that, a total of 0. We've literally matched 61 points last season, 61 points this season, but because of other teams around us playing worse, it means we have moved into a Champions League spot on merit this time, rather than some weird coefficient rules. Speaking of the Champions League, it wasn't very good. We finished 27th. We did win. We beat Monaco 3-1. We drew 4 matches, Napoli, Nice, Shakhtar, and Real Madrid. And then we lose 3 against Barcelona, Inter, and obviously the giants of Bodo Glimt. The Bodo Glimt result, not very good. Not very good at all, considering they finished actually 30th. They finished below us in the table. And in fact, the Shakhtar draw is even worse than that, because they finished 34th. We didn't have a very good Champions League run, okay? We also didn't have a particularly great DFB Pokal run either, this time losing against Werder in the quarterfinals, but that's where the board wanted us to get to. So for Season 3, players with over double figures in assists. Serginho Dest getting 11 in all competitions, 10 of them in the league, is our 2nd highest assister, which means we've got 2 players who've actually broken double figures. And the second one is Gio Reyna, playing as that attacking midfielder. He's got 15 assists and 20 goals he's been very, very useful. He is wanted. He is wanted by teams in Saudi Arabia. He does have a relegation release, but no actual release. Although, I would be willing to sell him for about 60 million. Because he's getting old. I'm not just putting out there. He's 28. He'll be 29 come the end of next season. He's getting on a bit. If we can sell him for 60 million, we've got a decent chunk of money to reinvest, get some better players in. When it comes to goals, we've got Mandela Keita in defensive midfield, scoring 9. So just outside double figures, but getting 9 goals from defensive midfield is really, really good. Dindane managed to pick up 10 in all competitions, and if we take a look, I believe Dindane was our main striker. So it looks like my assistant manager picked Dindane. I left the striker position empty, by the way. Dindane seemed to be the one who kind of took the reins for that one. Obispo playing on that right-hand side, getting 16 goals and 6 assists, 15 goals in the league. He's very good, and he is turning into a pretty decent player. He might need a new contract soon because he's only on 16 grand a week, and is arguably one of our best players. Datro Fofana's extortionate wages have chipped in a total of 20 goals and 6 assists in all competitions this season. I'm confused as to where he was playing. So he's playing on the left, on the right, and as a striker. So he's been a versatile attacking footballer, which is fine. That's one of the reasons why I wanted him in anyway, because he can play in multiple positions. 18 goals in the league is pretty good from 20 starts. Actually, that's very good from 20 starts. And joint top goal scorer we already know is Gio Reyna, who we actually locked in. I believe we locked him in. We didn't lock him in as that attacking midfielder, but he's obviously the best attacking midfielder, so that is where he has played all season. And basically, we've done well. We've done well. We've qualified for the Champions League. Hopefully next time in the Champions League as well, we can have a half-decent kind of run. Actually, win some games, get out of the group stage would be pretty decent. Just want to take a quick look at some of the other young players that I brought in the last few seasons. So Benavides, now 21 years of age. He's played a couple of times off the bench. Looks like he's getting better. We've got obviously Obispo and Dindane. We've seen Quinzinho at 19. He's actually declining, but he is worth 52 to 61 million pounds. He needs a loan deal. He needs a loan deal to go somewhere. He's played a total of 6 starts, 7 off the bench. But he needs a loan deal to get some game time. Dick Sean, by the way, or Dirk Sean, it's not Dick Sean, it's Dirk Sean, came through our youth intake. He doesn't look bad, does he? He's played once in the Champions League and once in the league as well. Musiari, have you managed to improve? No, not really. Ducour now 23. He doesn't seem to be improving much, does he? Ducour might not be working out. Hoskins at 23, obviously formerly of Southampton, played a lot of times off the bench. I don't really know why I brought him. If I'm perfectly honest, don't know why I brought him. We've got Montero, cost a lot of money, 9 starts. 9 starts, 17 off the bench. Who wants him? Is that a loan deal or is that like a permanent transfer? Permanent transfer. I mean, if somebody offers me like 30 million, I'll probably do that. Robert Kuss, who obviously joined in the summer, now 20, still at Maribor on his loan spell, but actually decent season, 24 appearances, 9 goals. Adrien Leguizamon, who went out on loan to Sportivo Lequenda, hasn't really played. He's played 9 matches, scoring a goal. I mean, he's still only 21. He's got 3 caps for Paraguay. And I don't think there's anybody else, unless we put somebody in the Wolfsburg 2 squad, which is possible. Maybe this guy. Is he getting better? He's kind of getting better. He's not good enough, though, is he? We've also got Mabenza, who's a 19-year-old goalkeeper, who I might need to promote next season, because I have a feeling Slonina might want to leave, and we don't really have any other backups. So Mabenza might be our third-choice goalkeeper for Season 4. But that's going to do it then for our first 3 seasons in charge of Wolfsburg. We win Bundesliga 2, we win the DFB Pokal, and we finish 3rd place in the Bundesliga this season to get ourselves some Champions League football. It means in the next video, which is going to be 3 more seasons, seasons 4, 5 and 6, we are hopefully going to be starting to push for that Bundesliga title. And then realistically, I want to be pushing for a Champions League, which is a competition that Wolfsburg have never won. It's a competition they've never won. They've won the Bundesliga once in 2009, the DFB Pokal twice, obviously we won one of them, and the Bundesliga 2 in 2029, which is also what we won, and the German Super Cup, which we had nothing to do with. But that's going to do it then for this one. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy it, like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll be back for part 2 of this relegation rebuild with Wolfsburg.